What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 18 here on Inspired Stories, back for the month of August. To close out the summer, we have another producer highlight this month, and I chose California artist and producer Terrace Martin. I have been following Terrace's work now for around, 7 or 8 years. I want to say the first time I saw Terrace's name was probably on the We The Plug album by HS87. Obviously that was a huge album as far as inspiring me to do music. And Terrace had credits on, I believe, Scorn, doing the saxophone outro and everything. So that was probably the first time I saw his name pop up, was with Hit Boy and all them. And then the next year in losing track of my years here. 2015, I was gonna say 2025. 2015, in January of that year, he was on Lupe Fiasco's Tetsuo and Youth album. Obviously, I just talked about Lupe last month on that Inspired Stories. He was on the song Body of Work, and I don't know if he was on another song, but I know he's credited. He's actually featured on Body of Work. Once again, doing different instrumentation parts. So that was kind of my introduction to Terrace. And then it wasn't until really when I got out of high school I started paying attention more to him, his own music, putting his stuff out as an artist. I knew that he had already done some compilation albums that had Marsha Ambrosius on it, Problem from the West Coast, Kendrick Lamar in some of his early raps, collaborated with Terrace. And obviously Terrace, if you know the album To Pimp a Butterfly, which is Kendrick's third album, that was pretty much, a lot of that is Terrace Martin's music and style and direction. So obviously he got a lot of looks from that. But as far as his own music as an artist, it was probably 2018 or 19. I was already listening to Robert Glasper, who's a good friend of Terrace's, and they did another group project, and it was called R+R=Now. It was a compilation with those two and a bunch of other great musicians. They had a few people on there to do vocals, but it was mostly an instrumental album. So I kind of was okay, I see Terrace putting a lot of stuff out. And then the next year, the first song that I heard that I was really into of his that was self-released was Beige. And it had Alina Penderhughes and Aaron Ray, who, again, another artist I've highlighted here. And I was wow, this song is incredible. He ended up dropping a few EPs during the pandemic. One of them was, I believe it's Impedance or Impedance. Don't quote me on that. But that had Beige on it, and it had Issues with Malaya and everything, and just a bunch of great records. And I just love the fact that Terrace is able to put out records with different artists on them, and he also does instrumental projects too. He dropped a few different tapes that had just instrumentals and everything, and I thought that was great. And then in summer of 2020, one of my favorite projects of his was the collaboration with Robert Glasper, Kamasi Washington, and Ninth Wonder, and it was called Dinner Party. And obviously, a lot of people know about the remix album, which is the one that won the Grammy. It's kind of like a rework where they had Cordae, Snoop Dogg, Punch from TDE, all these other people were on the songs they already did. For one, I prefer the original version, which just had Felix on the vocals of a few songs, and there's some instrumentals on there. Either way though, it's an amazing body of work. 7 songs. Highly recommend you go check that out. It's got the instrumentation from Terrace, Kamasi, and Robert on piano and everything. Kamasi and Terrace are playing saxophone most of the time. Robert's playing piano, and then you have the break beats from Ninth Wonder to add a hip hop style in it. So I really hope that they eventually do a part 2 to that, because that was just incredible. And I just remember when it came out, because I think this month is 2 years since it came out. I'm just I have not heard something that was this original and fresh of an idea in a long time. So I was man, just the musicality of it, and Terrace is a guy that he does some vocals as well. He has vocals on that project. A lot of his instrumental projects he'll do light vocals for because he sings and everything. And leading up until November of last year, he dropped his long-awaited album called Drones. And Drones had like Ty Dolla $ign, Kendrick Lamar, Cordae, YG, bunch of people, a lot of his close collaborators. The song Evil Eyes with Malaya and YG is by far my favorite song. Like, there's a ton of good songs on there. It was definitely worth the wait of an album. And I think he's currently working on like a deluxe version to it with some more songs, so I'm looking forward to that. But overall, just, I really, look up to what Terrace says, even in his interviews, about just staying rooted in the music. Like, you could do it for money, you could do it for fame, but the real people that are gonna last the longest are the people that just put their all into it and really go through the real trials and tribulations to kind of get to, that place of being like really free as far as like being a creative. I just appreciate his talent too, because like I said, he plays a lot of instruments, he produces, he's an artist. He is, I believe, he's independent through his own, I think he might have like a joint venture with maybe a bigger label on a lot of these releases. But Sounds of Crenshaw is like his collective as far as like releasing music and what he puts things out through. So he's got that going. Like, he just has so many things going. The Polyseeds, another one of his groups. He's currently doing tours with his dad, Terrace Martin, who's also a musician. So yeah, just incredible artist, and hats off to him. I've even reposted like clips of his past interviews before about things he said. I'm just like, this guy is just full of knowledge and wisdom. So shout out to Terrace Martin. If you haven't, just go look him up. I mean, look up his Genius credits. Obviously, if you've heard To Pimp a Butterfly, which most people have because it's critically acclaimed, start digging into the credits, see which ones he produced, and then just go back on his own music, see who else he's worked with. And I'm just looking forward to him just continuing to be, a creative, great outlet for the world in general. And I'm definitely looking forward to this next, deluxe version or whatever he's got coming up, because I'm sure he has a ton of stuff in the works. So yeah, that was episode 18. We'll be back in September with another artist. Once again, as always, I appreciate everyone watching, listening to the podcast, listening to my music and all the artists I've worked with and everything. And we got a lot more coming for you guys. So until then, we'll see you next time.